What is up, coordinators and naturals? I am just a simple Newtype, and in this episode we are finally diving into Gundam Seed Astray, Princess in the Sky. Before starting, however, we are going to dive into Declaration of the Sky, which is 2 short stories and a one-shot manga. This leads directly into Princess in the Sky. Here, Mina comes to terms that she needs an heir. Mattias informs her of what it truly takes to make the Declaration of the Sky a success, and Mina finds her successor. So let's get into this. Jess is down on Earth covering Kigali's wedding. Orb is working with the World Security Treaty Organization, which means they're trying to make a move away from neutrality. Mina got Jess access to the wedding along with an interview with the Martians. The Siren family was the most powerful after Mina and the Sahakus left the Great Five Clans. Of course they would find power during a time of turmoil. It's a family of schemers. Jess realizes that Kigali doesn't seem to want this wedding. There is a weird tension in the air. Jess is turned away because he doesn't have a black tie to a black tie event. You idiot! Kate Madigan lets him use his suit. Jess realizes that Kigali doesn't seem to want this wedding. During the ceremony, the Freedom comes in and takes Kigali, just like in the anime. Jess launches in his Outframe D to try to help. Murasame's scramble as well. Kate says to get his suit back to him. Better not rip it. He heads out and sees that Mina and the Goldframe are already on the scene. She is talking to a Martian. The Martian says that perhaps Kigali doesn't want to be rescued. This is Delta Astray, and the pilot is Agnes. Did we decide on Agnes or Ignis? I forgot already. The two stopped fighting and laid down arms. This was done after mentioning her Declaration of the Sky and her path towards empathetic individualism. Later we learned that she was taken by the Archangel. Many didn't even want this wedding to take place, so the people of Orb seem to be fine with it. Jess tries to interview the Martians, but Nahi steps in and says perhaps another time. They're too busy doing their own manga right now. The Goldframe never returned to the party. Jess wonders why. The smell of burning is in the air as the Junia 7 incident is fresh. The Eurasian Federation is lamenting at the never-ending war. They fought to end the violence, but it continues. This is an insight for why the Eurasian Federation isn't as buddy-buddy with the Alliance the second time around. Mina comes on a broadcast. Because of neutron jammers, everything is shortwave communication, and it is relatively easy to intercept. She calls for no nations and no nationalism. She calls for a universal philosophy instead. This new guideline of life is called the Declaration of the Sky. This isn't a live broadcast, but a video uploaded to various Junk Guild networks where the broadcast can be intercepted and streamed to anyone nearby. The Alliance tried to squash the videos, but they spread like wildfire. Rondo vows to protect anyone who chooses to follow this philosophy. So hyper-individualism and the desire for the pursuit of happiness so long as you don't tread on others' individualism and their pursuit of happiness. Mina's American. An incident happens with the Eurasian Federation forces and they unleash the new 105 dagger. These have the 12.5mm anti-infantry gun on the foot and is designed to suppress riots. These rounds can pierce through walls and are purposefully placed in the foot to take out the shins. The Eurasian forces pretended these were to combat coordinators, but instead are used on its own people. This is totally overkill. Mina in the Ri-2 Amatu Goldframe comes in to save the day. She disables the mobile suit with a Lancer dart. Windams with Ale striker packs approach. Usually they send jet Windams, which means Mina fell for a trap. They were planning on luring out a mobile suit. We never broke down the jet Windams in Destiny, so let's do it here. The GAT-04 plus AQME A4E1 Jet Windam is a Windam with the Jet Striker Pack equipped. This gives the unit flight capabilities on Earth, which puts the Alliance at an advantage over the Zaku series, at least on Earth. There are hard points under the wings for propellant tanks or additional weapons. Neo Roanoke's Windam had its limiters taken off. Weapons include 12.5mm Sea-Wiz, a beam saber, the rocket-propelled anti-armor penetrator, which is a small knife that can explode, a dagger beam rifle, an offensive shield which comes with 2 missiles, and various air-to-air and air-to-surface missiles. The crowd cheers when the Goldframe deactivates its Mirage Colloid. The Windams circle Mina. Mina swiftly takes out the Windam striker packs. She isn't killing them, but she is destroying their thrust and it's a long fall down. After the battle, Mina heads to a mansion not too far away. The owner of this mansion is Mattias, who happens to be dead at this point. Apparently the same day that Mina made her Declaration in the Sky. Mattias and Matisse blew up along with the clan. He left videos for everyone in his life, including Mina. Mattias predicted conversations would need to happen after his death. She is struggling to keep her promise of protecting everyone who believes in the Declaration of the Sky. She's having scaling issues. She meets with a hologram of Mattias. Mattias knows everything, including that this conversation would happen. So she asks if her Declaration in the Sky will succeed. Ultimately, the video recording of Mattias tells her that it is likely to succeed, but it will take more than one generation to make it a success. This requires lineage. This is also something that 7 and 11 Socius once said to her as well. Those are the two Socius clones that rebelled. Last we saw these two were in Versus Astray meeting up with Gun and other Socius clones. These two were the first to take refuge under the Declaration of the Sky. Mattias's calculations predicted around 700 years before the Declaration of the Sky could be fully achieved. She is saddened that she will never see it with her own eyes. Mina asks about the Martians, but then hologram Mattias talks about the gold frame. He mentions it must be old now. It is a little bit old, but it still holds up. I guess Mattias couldn't predict everything. But then she thinks about it for a second and realizes that Mattias predicted Mina would come much later than she did. Why did she think she would come later? Did Mattias not predict Agnes and the Martians? Mattias' sister Matisse had 13 irregulars that she kept an eye on. None of them were the Martians. Though we only know 8 of the 13. They are Kira, Lo, Guy, the Professor, Edward Harrelson, Jean Carey, Lacus, and Jess Rabble. If Mattias didn't know, then the future isn't written and she could do it herself. She leaves before hologram Mattias could finish. Later, 11 Socius comes to the mansion. It expected 11, which means hologram Mattias must have just spoken to Mina. It appears his vagueness towards the Martians was to motivate her, and it was indeed all a part of Mattias's plan. He wanted to show to Mina that he isn't a psychic who could predict the future, even though you're kinda showing me that you are. The power of writing makes you magic. Mina returns to Aminami Hashira. Her gold frame is taking a lot of damage, standing up for the Declaration of the Sky followers. Yoon suggests new upgrades to the gold frame. Is there a canon reason that Yoon is here? I don't think so. She is essentially female Lo and goes where she's needed, I guess. She also created the Resta. Do you think she gets a cut of the sales from the Junk Guild? Are they screwing over Yoon? Speaking of the Junk Guild, Rondo meets with the chairman, Liam. She tells Liam that she plans on continuing the orbital elevator. Remember, Aminami Hashira was supposed to be the top of the elevator, but production halted. The Junk Guild wants to help. Satona Winters makes cake for everyone. See, now Satona randomly showing up makes a lot more sense. Also there is Kenneth Lucchini and Bernadette. Bernadette LaRue was last seen in Destiny Astray with Jess. He informs her of a place on Earth that follows the Declaration. They took in Zaf deserters and Plant won't leave them alone. Kenneth thinks it isn't their battle, but Mina heads out anyways. Attacking the cities are Bobbies. The AMA 953 Bobby is the successor to the Den and designed as an aerial maneuver attacker and not a mobile suit. This was created to keep up with the Alliance's jet Wyndhams. It has a mobile armor mode which makes it look like a flying Baku. This has improved flight performance and improves on the Den's weak armor. Weapons include a multi-phase beam cannon in the chest, 12 barrel missile launchers on the wings, 4 4-barrel machine guns, a beam rifle, and an aerial gun launcher. There are so many Cosmic Era grunts that flew under the radar during our Destiny coverage because the show decided to focus on the Zaku again. They terrorize the city before Mina comes in and saves the day. Kenneth doesn't get what there is to be gained from helping them, but that is what makes Mina so unique. She declares that she will protect everyone under the Declaration of the Sky. And that will do it for our Declaration in the Sky arc. Now let's dive into Princess in the Sky. Peace seems to no longer be an option post-war, but there are still some that walk their own path, such as the Junk Guild. They are hired to take apart some Junia 7 junk, but Lo is just showing off his Gerbera straight. There are some who fight when others have no one. Guy in the 2nd L and Elijah in the Vince Savior fight against some mercs. There are also some who seek the truth. Jess Rabble is not too far from Serpentel, documenting the battle. And then there is Mina. She is currently in the process of finding a successor and has narrowed the choice down to 2 people. She thinks that with a successor will come a new Astray. The girls set forth on an adventure. Mina's choices are Kazahana of Serpentel and our new character, Lath Winslet. One of these girls will become her daughter. One will become the Princess in the Sky. Ooh, title drop. We flash back to CE70. A young girl is piloting a Baku in the snow. She is a coordinator. Soon, she is heading to Orb. This is Lath. Her father runs Winslet World Concert, or WWK, who is mainly in charge of testing mobile suits in cold climates. She wonders why they are moving to Orb. Her father gives her intel on everyone attending the party. On the list is both Mina and Gina. At the party, she runs into Gina, who reminds her that her father is helping create weapons of war for them. She asks her to dance, but she refuses and runs away. She then runs into Mina. Oh, absolutely would. She reminds Lath that she is a coordinator born of naturals and that everyone serves a role. For the Sahakus, both Mina and Gina can be interchangeable, but it is by design in the Sahaku family. The Winslet moved to Orb to escape the war, but that didn't last long. Soon the Alliance attacked, During this attack, Lath's father was assassinated. The Alliance took control of WWK and kept Lath prisoner during the entire Alliance Plant War. She was locked away until one day the Goldframe came to save her. She recognizes the voice of the pilot. It happens to be Gina. Gina is dead at this point, so it is Mina. Oh wait, I forgot there's a carbon human clone of Gina. Guess it could be that. I forgot about those. And that will do it for our first dive into Princess in the Sky. Most of this was Mina's declaration of the sky, but it plays a big role as we move into Princess in the Sky, and probably should have been a part of the main story anyways. This manga revolves around the declaration, and the declaration isn't even in it. Mina is no longer looking at the world through the lens of genetics. Naturals and coordinators don't matter in her world. All that matters is those who share her core principle. Next time, we will learn that it is Mina that saved Lath at the request of the late Gina. We get to see more of Kazahana's story, and Lo uses a meteor breaker, but he uses it for good instead of terrorism. But that will do it for now, coordinators. Remember, some things require generations to get done. Peace.